And we are live. It is, I almost said Sunday, Saturday, April the 13th, 2019. Your friendly neighborhood hippie Ben here on a special Saturday night hangout with my good friend Matt Flaherty and Chris of Texas Toast Guitars. Sorry, Chris, I forgot your last name.
All right.
He doesn't have one. He's sort of like Bono.
And
oh, I knew it. See, that's why.
And Madonna.
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for watching us.
Yes.
We don't know what we're going to talk about yet. Ben's got a list of questions. Actually, I have questions for you too, Ben.
Awesome.
They're the standard questions that I ask everybody.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm just going to do a quick roll call. So if you want a shout out, say it now. We've got Brad Miller. He says first. We've got Joe Hervey 84. We got RJ the Mad One. We've got Terry's GG&G in the house. Moderator to the stars. Phil Mosley Music is here as well already, and that's just the pre-show. Oh, there's Todd Flowers jumping in. I guess everyone's getting the notifications.
Ben, do you know all these guys? Like, have you done like a meet and greet kind of deal?
I do have a meet and greet happening actually June the 8th. We have called it Canuck Con.
Is it in Canada?
It is. Arden's Music is hosting the event in one of their lesson rooms. So we're going to have my whole band, well, me and Richie co-host at Canucks with Guitars, our band, the Honey Badger Outfit.
Sweet.
All the members are going to be there, so we can jam with the band. We're going to do a live stream. It's going to be a great day.
We do a thing every year, even though it's only one evening. We call it Texas Toast Days. And one of the things we do is called Stump the Lousy Guitar Player. And people write songs, or it's got to be something that, you've heard on the radio. It can't, I mean, people always write some weird dicky thing that, yeah. So they'll write something down and I'll read it off. And I've got a panel of basically hired guns who are really badass. They're not lousy guitar players at all. And if you can stump one of the guitar players, you win a prize. So yeah, you should steal Stump the Lousy Guitar Player for your meet and greet.
I love the idea. I love the idea. Yes.
And you always get some guy like Dylan from Flipside who has some weird metal band that no one's ever heard of from Michigan. And okay, yeah.
Yeah. The rule is you, Matt, because you're the MC.
It's my fucking show. Yeah.
You have to recognize the song. You don't even need to know how it goes, but you need to know that it's a real thing.
Yeah, and it's got to be identifiable as the song once they play it. I don't care if it's in the right key or even in tune. In fact, it's Stump the Lousy Guitar Player, so I'd prefer it if it wasn't in tune.
Yeah. But it's amazing what some of the guitar players can pull out of the air.
Yeah.
We had somebody say the Muppet theme
from the Muppet Show, and Jeff played it.
And one of the guys played it, and we're all like, wow, that was impressive.
Carry on.
I had someone do the standard request of Freebird. Somebody, I said, I don't know how to play it. Somebody put the chords in the chat. I started playing Freebird.
Hey, I got your Freebird right here.
Can't hear it? Let me turn it up.
We got
so, Ben, it's been a long time since we've actually seen you, and the last time was at one of the Texas Toast meet and greets at the NAMM show.
Yes.
And it was, we were hanging around with you at the actual show, but it was cool to hang out at that crappy bar and have some beers with you guys. And that was really fun.
Yes. I definitely enjoyed that, hanging out with you guys. I think I made a few trips to that bar over the course of the NAMM show.
It's the way to go. And now you know the secret.
All the cool
yeah, that's like the secret stash place right there.
Exactly. Yeah.
All those suckers waiting in line a block away to get some crappy burger off a truck for $13.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. Not to mention the one time I was walking over to the bar, I ran into Glenn Hughes on the way and got to say hi to him.
Was that right?
Yeah. Dylan was freaking out. Dylan was with us.
Yeah.
And I had him take a picture of Glenn and me, and he had to take like 5 pictures because his hands were shaking so bad.
All right, I wonder if those guys at Flipside are tuning in. I think those jamokes are still at work.
Yeah, it would be nice. They should just have this playing in the store anyways, shouldn't they?
They should. Yeah, they absolutely should. Maybe they do. Who knows?
Ike gets upset when you curse in the store, though.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
He gets upset when you show up and drink beer.
What's that?
How can Ike be upset with anybody cursing?
Well, he's pretty freewheeling.
Yeah, but not in the store. Not like let's all go hang out at Ike's store and
I guess that's true.
cause
That
a
it is
riot.
always at the forefront of his mind that
Yeah.
this is a place where little
Yeah.
kids could show up.
Right. Yeah. And
I
if
guess.
there's not little kids around or soccer moms or whatever, then he's okay with it. But
Are there any hot soccer
but we
moms?
went in one time and he was like,
well, because we showed up with beers and we were like ready to party. Yeah.
yeah, maybe.
So
Everyone's saying hello to each other in the chat. McRocker Vlogs McRocker, Todd Flowers, Mrs. Texas Toast is in the chat. Brian Toast, Will. Yeah, it's funny when you mention music stores, and I'll call it music store etiquette. So my local Arden's Music, independent mom and pop, which is great. They help us out on the channel. Go Arden's
and they're
Music.
getting fewer and farther between too. So that's cool that you have those.
It is. Well, I'm not a father of anything that I know of.
No, it's fewer and farther between. Not
yes.
Between.
I thought you said I'm a father of a tween, and I'm like, not that I'm aware of.
I'm aware. No. Mom and pop music stores are harder and harder to find.
Exactly. And when you walk in, it's one of these double door setups. You walk through the first door, and there's a small waiting area for the lesson rooms, and then you go into the main store. So I'm going in there one evening, and a soccer mom with her, I'd say about 9-year-old son is with them, carrying a guitar case. And she does gives me one look up and down, kind of sneer, like, oh, dirty music. And I'm thinking, how much money a month are you paying hoping that your son grows up just like me?
That's just it. Yeah. Yeah. So did you ask to see her tits or anything?
Yeah, I tried, but when I was banned for 30 days,
I see you checking me out.
I see you checking me.
When I get
something
going.
Yeah. That's that worked with Ike.
It did work
the
for Ike.
line, do you want to get something going, actually worked for Ike. Yeah. It really did. Yeah. And he's got something going to this day. Hey, so we can't see the chat. Is anybody chatting? Is anybody saying anything?
Yeah, mostly saying hey to each other. So guys, if you have any questions, definitely ask away. McRocker Vlogs McRocker says he loves guitars, which
I
thank you
too.
See, Absolute Mayhem is in the chat. My good buddy Wayne. He says he's tuning in from the open road.
Hey, right on.
We'll just scroll up here. Yeah, everyone's saying hey to each other.
That's right. There's
a new guitarist. Ron Limber's in here. We got a bunch of people in here. Cool. Charles Green, BB Made. Wolverella says, don't lie, Ben. You are the father of a tween. Nope. Although there is a few shows back in the day. I don't quite remember how I got home.
I got a prank call one time where some kid was pretending to be my illegitimate child. Do you remember that one night? I'm the product of that.
No, jeez.
No, it's true. I really am. No. And then I started thinking, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Ben's got one of those vape pens. We should start smoking. I think I want to start smoking pipes again. I used to smoke a pipe and what the fuck is that? Oh, you should mute that, Carrie Ann. There we go. It's jeez.
Joe Hervey 84 says, Ben, that guitar, anything special about the pickups? Which guitar? That's what I have.
Ben, you've got your own set of P90s, isn't that right?
I have a signature set, which are in my Reno Fin. Actually, I'll grab that guitar since you're a guitar builder.
Hold on, Ben. There's something goofy going on, and yeah.
Oh, Mayhem.
So we can't hear you.
Down on the Camaro.
There we go.
Nice.
You have a Camaro?
Oh, no, Wayne does. Yeah, he's got I think it's a 2010 SS.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a bitchin' Camaro.
Well, I have one of those too, except mine's sitting out in the yard for the last 15 years because I'm a redneck.
Have you, there's a band in Wisconsin apparently called I Rock Z, which is the great band name.
Nice.
So anyway, tell me about your signature set of pickups there.
All right. Well, my signature set of pickups are currently in my signature guitar. This was made by my buddy Travis at Reno Fin Custom Guitars in Victoria, British Columbia. Obviously a T-style body with an arm relief, which I hadn't really seen before. Honduran mahogany body. Nice. Thin coat of paint, no clear coat at all. My signature P90s, Parsons Street style in the neck at about 7.5 K output. 9.5 K output on the bridge. 4-way selector switch, so you can do the out of phase thing as well. Canadian maple neck, raw finish, because I don't really hear anything on the necks, including the fretboard, so it takes your DNA really easy.
Oh, it's a completely unfinished neck. That's cool.
Yeah, he just put a little stain on it just because he said it was so white when he built it.
Yeah.
Stainless steel frets that are quite small, vintage size. Yeah.
So what's the big idea with the pickup ring on the bridge position there? That's pretty neat. I've not seen one of those before.
Yeah. And standard modern.
No. Wait. Let's go back. So the looks like your bridge pickup P90 actually has a ring, which is kind of cool. I have not seen it. So how do you adjust the height of the pickup? Is it got
still the same way?
Okay, so it's hard mounted to the body.
Yeah. It's just for aesthetics that has the pickup ring, and then of course with a unique pick guard as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
So he's got a replacement guard and pickup ring coming because since he built this, he has a CNC machine and a 3D printer.
Oh, cool. So is he making bridges as well, or
not yet? But he's looking at that. It's funny. He originally got the pickup winder just because he wanted one, obviously. But the first set of pickups he ever wound was this set right here. And part of the reason was he wanted to build his own pickups to keep the cost down on this thing. And since that time, he's now supplying pickups to 2 local luthiers as well in the Vancouver area.
Cool.
And there's a couple local bass players that he's looking at doing pickups for them as well.
And so who built the guitar for you?
His name is Travis Taylor at Reno Fin Custom Guitars.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Actually, a guy I've known him, 40 years almost. No, he's 40 years old. I've known him, basically, he went to school with my sister from kindergarten right through grade 12.
So there's no way we could get you to swap that out to a daily driver then, is what I'm hearing.
In addition to?
Yeah, and so the reason I ask about the bridges is we're between machinists, and looking looking for someone to maybe start producing some metal parts for us. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah, nothing at this time as far as doing any casting, I think. Hey, we got Steve Anderson in the house from Victoria, British Columbia.
Nice.
Ironically enough.
So, there you go. Oh, sorry. I don't even know where we're going. Check out all of Ben's amps there. That's a cool Marshall, and yeah.
Mid 80s Marshall MOSFET Lead 100, Fender Blues Deluxe, a mid 70s PV Classic 50.
Is that an AC-15?
Halfback, and a B52 AT112.
What's the Vox?
Yeah, what's the Vox?
That used to be an AC-15. It has been gutted to the point where it's now just a 1x12 cab.
Speaker,
okay. Yeah. I had a Vox AC-30 that was one of the Chinese ones, and it was really cool when it ran.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was really not cool when it was broken, which was half the time.
I've heard that they've gotten a lot better.
I think they have, yeah. But man, it sounded cool.
Yeah. I've always wanted a Vox AC-15 or an AC-30. I think a 30's too much amp.
No, it's fucking loud.
Yeah. But someday I will own one of those. So,
well, I also have the Vox was a Christmas gift from Richie, along with what started out as a Pathfinder that he converted to be just a head, and then put in like the top boost mod and a few other mods.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I have the cheapest Vox that they make. That's battery powered.
Like the Radio Shack Vox.
Yeah. Well, I forget what it's called, but it runs on like 6 AA batteries, and it's got a bunch of.
Well, I remember you got that, and it was neat because it was little and did a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But it sounded like listen to transistor radio. You're like, look, this is pretty cool. I'm like, can we play that through a big boy amp just to see?
Well, so I built a bigger cabinet and I put a 10-inch speaker in the bigger cabinet that holds the amp, and it's better. But it's
officially, I think we've gone global, guys.
Yes.
We got Steve Anderson on the west coast of Canada. We got Islander Winder on the east coast of Canada.
That's awesome.
We got Dale Palmer from Ike's neck of the woods originally, upstate New York. And I see Guitar Manifesto tuning in from England. And Pete Hickson tuning in from Australia.
Well, that's awesome. It's probably like 2 o'clock in the morning there. I have a very, very poorly or little known Facebook page that I call the Electric Guitar Builders Manifesto. And the Guitar Manifesto guy made me think of that. I don't know why. This is a place where I kind of go and like post weird stuff and motivational things, mostly for me. But a few people have this. You get stuff from it, don't you?
I get stuff from it, yeah. And sometimes it's somewhat creepy and it's like I don't know who this dude is. It's
me all the time. It's So if anyone's interested, the Electric Guitar Builders Manifesto page on Facebook, you can go like it.
Everyone, actually, everyone in the chat, if you want to tell us where you're from, because like Pete Hickson says, it's 8:45 in the morning. We got BV Ninja just jumped in. Salut mon ami. He's from Switzerland.
Nice.
Carter Zeet says new here. Awesome. Drive Shaft Drew, another new name. I'm in the center of Canada. McRocker Vlogs McRockers from Massachusetts. Phil Mosley Music's from the UK.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And somebody had asked earlier where you guys are from. They're from Denver, Colorado.
We are, right outside of Denver right now. I was born in Rock Island, Illinois, though. And I don't know why there's an S on the end of Illinois, because if the good Lord didn't want you to pronounce it, he wouldn't have put it there. But Texas Toast Guitars was, I wanted to have something that was, I lived in Texas for a long time, and I wanted to have something because Texas has its own kind of mystique. And I wanted to have that in my guitar brand, but Lone Star Guitars was already taken. So I didn't want to have it be my last name Guitars. But Texas Toast is easy to remember and stupid and sort of like me. It's got everything. Yeah. Where are you from, Chris?
Easy to remember and
stupid.
Yeah.
Chris says he's from Texas. Janice is from Connecticut. We got Long Island, New York in the house. Kansas.
Long Island?
Yeah, Will Brewer.
The guy who's from
Long Island. Metalhead Hippie is from Alaska.
Sweet.
From Southern California. Carter Zeet says he's in Denver, North Carolina, actually.
There's a Denver in North Carolina?
Apparently so. Brian Stewart says don't mess with Texas because Texas will mess you back.
That you best believe.
Everyone's saying great names on Texas Toast. Daniel Horsley's from Southern Ohio. Ivan Carter in Washington State. And Mrs. Texas Toast used to live in High Point, North Carolina. Ooh.
She also used to live in Moonachie, New Jersey. And if you say Moonach, she'll say
Narc.
Yeah, that's right.
I was going to say High Point, North Carolina. That sounds like Petty territory, being that I'm a race fan as well.
High Point is
that Petty, not the other Petty?
Well, High Point
Richard Petty, not Tom Petty?
There's too much. Yeah, you can't.
I love them both, actually. I've met Richard Petty, and the last major concert I went to was Tom Petty.
There you go.
You have to be on the microphone if you want to be on the show, Carrie Ann. Okay.
Moments passed.
All right. So, Carrie Ann, I have a list of questions for Ben.
Yeah.
They're my standard. They're on the computer.
That's a standard question.
But will you just hand me the list, please, so that I don't have to remember what they are? It says a Post-it note on the computer. There you go. There you go. Come on. All right.
Come on.
It's real easy.
Should have been. Post-it note.
It's a Post-it note. All right. So, Ben, I have some questions for you.
Sure.
Let me get my danger glasses. So these are standard questions that I ask everybody in live chats. And even though it's not my live chat, I thought I'll ask you.
But it is a live chat.
It is a live chat. So these are binary questions. Are you ready?
Sure.
Some of them are binary questions. Some of them are up for interpretation.
Sure.
All right. You ready? Here we go. Sweet or savory?
Sweet.
Pie or cake?
Pie.
Ooh. Mexican or Italian?
Ooh. Italian.
Okay. This is. There's only one right answer on this one. Deep dish or thin crust?
Deep dish.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Ben.
thank you for playing.
Only because it's so hard to get.
All right, here's the last binary question. This is the most important one too.
Yes.
Under pressure or ice baby?
Well, Ice Ice Baby was my jam in '89, but Under Pressure.
Ah, dude. Okay. All right. So here's some other ones that I just sort of. What's the guitar that got away?
Ooh, good one. I think it was a 72, 73 Telly.
Okay. And finally, this then you don't have to answer this one right away because this you might want to think about this for a while. But top 5 Desert Island albums.
All right. Let me think. Exile on Main Street.
Now, Chris actually has a pretty decent point about this, and his is that you won't be able to actually hear the album. So get the ones with the biggest titty women on the front, so you can jerk off to the covers.
Oh, okay. So like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Mother's Milk.
let's just say, for the sake of conversation, you get to listen to them. You don't have to jerk off to the title.
Yeah. Let's also assume that I didn't say it quite that way.
Chris wants to be able to shoot hot loads.
Stop.
At the. All right. So for the sake of this question, you get to play them.
All right. So Exile on Main Street, Toys in the Attic, Physical Graffiti, Kiss is Alive, and fifth one will be that's a good one.
Well, it's the last one, so yeah, you got
I will go with James Gang's first album.
Oh, okay. All right. You're getting the horns from Mrs. Texas Toast. So yeah.
Nice.
Except for the what? Oh, except for the Zeppelin one. Yeah, she's not a fan.
Mrs. Texas Toast will not be sharing your desert island experience.
Or deep dish pizza.
Or deep dish pizza.
Well, that's
Brian Stewart, I did mention Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic.
Ice Ice Baby.
It's a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
Ice Ice Baby is still better than Under Pressure. And every time Under Pressure comes on the radio, I'm like, yes. And then it's that shit. And I'm like, So yeah, that's the standard questions that I try to ask everybody. And I've been adding to the question list. So if for the people who have been asked already, they might not have gotten all the questions, but as our live chats continue to grow and mature, there'll be more questions. So yeah. So that's fun.
Love it.
And then what?
Yes. BV. On a side note, rest in peace, Paul Raymond, a UFO.
Oh wow. When did that happen?
I found out about an hour and a half ago when BV posted it in our Facebook group.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Somebody else died, like musical guy died this week, and I can't remember who it was, but well,
I must have missed that one.
I'm not exactly up on all the music trivia, etc. So
and I'll say, actually, to defend the deep dish pizza, it's the extra crust, because so many days of eating pizza, playing in the band, I'll go for the thicker crust, because then each
the
slice
most food
that much more.
Yeah. You want to maximize the food delivery. Yeah. I totally get that.
Exactly.
There's no wrong answers. Well, that was a wrong answer, but other than that, no wrong answers. Well, and Led Zeppelin, that was a wrong answer, according to Carrie Ann. Not everybody.
Mrs. Texas Toast is very opinionated.
We can mention to Carrie Ann, I do have Jimmy Page's Les Paul tattooed on my arm, for God's sake.
Wow. Do you have the Marshall JCM 800 schematic tattooed somewhere on your body, like Brian Nutter?
No.
We have yet to see that, but maybe we'll ask him to make an appearance tomorrow.
But by getting Jimmy Page's Les Paul tattooed on me, I also got Joe Walsh's Les Paul tattooed on me, right?
And Rick Nielsen's.
Well, Joe Walsh gave that Les Paul to Jimmy Page. So.
Oh, okay. I think they're indistinguishable from the ones that Rick Nielsen has too.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and depending on what crowd it is, right? No, honestly, that's Bernie Marsden's.
Hey, so
this is Slash's Les Paul.
Totally.
Yeah, trying to appeal to the hipster crowd.
So it is my understanding that ZZ Top is celebrating their 50th anniversary this year, and they're doing a tour with Cheap Trick. And I'm like, that's got to be the two dudes with the coolest guitar collections in the world.
Wonder if those guys ever made any money.
And there's a third band involved that has some cool guitars as well.
Is it Queensryche?
No.
No, okay.
That would be Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Oh, Skynyrd is on that tour as well?
Yeah. And wow. I can attest firsthand because I was at a NASCAR race a couple of years ago, and I was already well into the wobbly pops, as we like to call them here in Canada. And my cousin goes off ahead of me to Lynyrd Skynyrd was playing a pre-race concert. And I said, oh, I'll catch up with you. And I didn't feel like walking all the way around through the pits to get to the crowd area. So I took a shortcut. Next thing I know, I'm backstage looking at the guitar boats for Ricky Medlock and Gary Rossington going, oh my God.
So it's peculiar because you've got 50 years of ZZ Top with all original members, 40 years of Cheap Trick with, I'm not sure if they're touring with Bunny Carlos, but at some point they still could have all the original members. And no original members of Skynyrd? One. Rossington is still alive? Yeah. I think would be cool though would be to have, like, you know, when you go to the dry cleaner. I mean, I don't go to the dry cleaner, but I've seen it on TV. Either where they have you push the button and like all these like these shirts and pants and stuff kind of wheel around. They could have a different guitar for every song on one of those like things and have it be like a total guitar nerd.
That was
yes,
the Tom Petty concert when I saw him on the last tour. He and Mike Campbell used a different guitar every single song, including even when Tom did like 3 acoustic songs in a row. Yeah. He used a different acoustic each song too.
That's funny. I know every time I've seen Cheap Trick, Rick Nielsen plays a different guitar every song. Sometimes he'll play the same guitar more than one time, but he always changes. And I want to say Billy Gibbons does mostly that too, depending on what he's into at that moment. So it's been a while since I've seen ZZ Top. It's probably been 3 or 4 years. So
yeah,
you ever seen ZZ Top live?
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah. What did you see the Moving Sidewalks one where they had the moving side? Did you really?
Recycler at McNichols Arena.
That's cool.
Here and
they had
the and they did the walk thing, and that was cool. And they did Manic Mechanic. And
nice.
The junkyard shook.
That's cool.
And yeah, it was a good show. I can't. Oh, and you know what? One of the guys, the lead singer from Lynyrd Skynyrd, opened the show. What's his name? The new guy, not the
guy's brother guy.
Yeah.
Johnny Van Zant.
Johnny Van Zant opened up and stood for him, and he yelled at the crowd.
Why would no one stand for
you?
Johnny?
Motherfuckers better stand up and clap for us. Yeah, it was because ZZ Top's stage was so huge.
Yeah,
they had like 3 feet in front of the big giant curtain.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, they were lame. And I forget, Brickyard Road or something like that was the song that he was somewhat famous for at that point.
I couldn't tell you.
And he got visibly upset and started yelling at the crowd because they
weren't
showing enough appreciation. So
what can you do?
Kind of funny, I thought.
What can you do? I think Skynyrd is cool. Even without all the original dudes, I think Skynyrd is cool.
Well, that was the funny part. After I got escorted from the backstage area, I made it to the side stage. Yeah, I made it to the side stage, but then realized I forgot my earplugs. And I took one step in front of the mains. I said, nope, no way. So I just stood side stage, which I prefer anyways, because I'm listening to the monitor mix, in the live stage mix.
Yeah.
And that's what we're used to. And so every time the background singers wouldn't be singing, they'd go backstage, and I'm like 10 feet away from them. So, we're kind of waving back and forth and stuff. After the show, they whisked the band out because they had a show later that evening in Greensboro. And they go to leave, and there's a traffic jam.
Yeah.
So it's me and the road manager directing the 2 vans with the band through the traffic. and then the second van actually clipped a tow truck, so the road manager had to go deal with that.
Oh,
so me being me, half in the bag, I stick my head into the window of the first van and start talking to Gary Rossington about his anniversary edition Les Paul. I'm like, wow, you don't see a lot of Cherry Burst with gold hardware. That's the anniversary edition. Eh? He was like, you know your guitars. I was like, sure.
So here's
Love
a question I have. Why didn't they take a plane to Greensboro?
It's only like a half-hour drive up the highway.
That was just a poorly timed joke. Never mind. Yeah. Too soon?
Too soon. Yeah.
All right.
Too soon.
All right. So Ben, we are can't see the comments, and that's perfectly fine. But is there any action in the comment section?
Not so much, actually. Mainly talking to each other. Brian Landreth says he saw Skynyrd in '74 and also almost got in a fist fight with Rick Nielsen, so he's had a colorful life.
Wow, yeah. If you don't get in a fist fight at a Lynyrd Skynyrd show, you're probably failing as a citizen too. So
yeah.
I don't really get in a fist fight.
And Brian Stewart said he loves Mike Campbell. He went to the last Tom Petty tour as well.
Cool. Very cool.
Yes.
I'm not so jazzed on Mike Campbell being the new guitar player for Fleetwood Mac.
He is?
BTW, yes.
Well, why?
Just cuz.
Because Lindsey Buckingham's the man?
Yeah, that and it just feels like a fill-in gig. I don't know.
Is he doing it with Stevie Nicks?
Was it Neil Finn from Crowded House playing with them as well?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it just feels weird.
Yeah.
So.
I think that was more of a comfort thing because they've known each other for so long, right?
Right. Yeah.
So he's not doing it with Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
He is. That has nothing to do with him playing.
I think if you're in Fleetwood Mac, it has everything to do with it.
Well, that was the funny part was I saw an interview with Mike Campbell a few weeks ago from Reverb, and they said, so what, right at the end of the interview, they said, so what's it like playing in Stevie Nicks' band? And Mike kind of smirks. He goes, Stevie plays in my band.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
Yeah. Isn't Stevie Nicks like married to that long-haired, curly-haired dude with the glasses? The guitar player? She's never married?
She's not married right now, I don't think.
No, I don't know.
We have questions.
Oh, all right.
All right, let's see. One, Joe Hervey was asking if there's anything special about the pickups in the guitar behind you.
This one?
Yep.
Let's address that. I forget who made the pickup. Big Dog or
Wolf Tone?
Wolf Tone pickup. So the guy who there's a lot of things special about this guitar. First and foremost, the guy who commissioned it is a huge Clarence Gatemouth Brown fan. And so he wanted a guitar that looked as close to the Clarence Gatemouth Brown guitar as we could get. And as you can see, it has a leather tooled pick guard, and it even says Gatemouth right in this neighborhood. And he he sent us all the hardware because that's the stuff that he wanted. Yeah, we should have drilled trem holes for it and just left them, but we didn't. So he wanted it just kind of a matte finish instrument, and
you could have sent him that text. So we're just routing the Floyd out.
Yeah, the Floyd. I love Floyds, and I think they're making a little bit of a comeback. I don't even play the guitar. I play bass in a band. So, and I really wear it and flick my hair around, and ride the A string. But I think that Floyds, we're doing a lot more guitars with Floyds, and I'm really happy about that because I think they're cool, and it kind of shows you that maybe some retro stuff is coming back. But
yeah,
that's another thing. Maybe we'll get a question about that. But so these are Wolf Tone pickups, and I don't really know anything about Wolf Tone.
I don't either. No.
You know anything about them, Ben?
Not a clue.
Okay.
But I'm sure they're good if you're using them.
They're P90s. Yeah.
Yeah. So the original version of this guitar that Gatemouth owned had one of those Maestro trims on it.
Mm-hmm.
The big long tail piece. He pulled that off, and on his original, then you can see the screw holes in it, and you have a Gatemouth sort of connection.
I actually, that's right. I do have a little bit of. I've met Clarence Gatemouth Brown one time, and I was working at Rarebird Guitar Laboratory, and Clarence Gatemouth Brown came into the shop and wanted to request a guitar be made, and he was insistent that it have a leather pickguard. And the guy who I worked for was insistent that it not have a leather pickguard. And so Bruce Clay and Clarence Gatemouth Brown almost got enough. They were like this close to throwing down over a fucking leather pickguard. And Clarence Gatemouth Brown's like, every guitar should have a leather pickguard. And Bruce Clay was like, no guitar should ever have a leather pickguard. So yeah, it was, I'm like, I'm just going to, I was like 23 or something when it happened. Yeah. So more than half my life ago. But yeah, Clarence Gatemouth Brown was a cool guy. He had a great big cowboy hat, skinny dude. And he probably could throw down.
Where was the shop located then?
It was in Hardtown.
Was it?
Yeah, it was right over at Bruce's house. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. It was like less than a mile from here. Yeah.
Wow.
Terry's GG.
Another question from Will Varela asks, can I ask you guys, how long have you been in the guitar building industry? Thanks.
Well, who asked that again, Ben?
Will Varela.
Will?
Yep.
So, Will, I've been making guitars since 1989. I don't know if you could call what I do being part of the industry, but yeah. So, and Chris has been at it for quite a long time too. And yeah, it's really, it's going to sound corny, but it's a passion. It's something that, we really enjoy doing. So, Mrs. Texas Toast is showing me some stuff here. I can't see it without my danger glasses, but tell Matt the guy actually has a prototype P90 that screws into a humbucker. Oh, okay, cool. So let me get back to that. But so building guitars is one of those things that again, I'm a lousy guitar player, but I love being a guitar builder. It's a way that connects me to music in a different way than I'm capable of doing through actually playing the guitar, because no one wants to hear me play the guitar. But I'm fortunate enough that I have a lot of people who want me to make them instruments, and that's a really cool thing for me. So what do you think, Chris?
I like guitars.
Yeah, follow that shit.
Yeah. I've always been into making things and fixing things, and I like things that I don't necessarily like art. Like you do a painting and then you look at it.
Yeah.
But I do like making things that I can hold and touch and use. And
I've always been a fan of the industrial arts.
Yeah.
And guitar making guitars, whether it's acoustic or electric, is certainly an industrial art.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed fixing things. And when I if I look at an old guitar, I don't see an old guitar. Well, sometimes I do. If I see a beat down guitar, I don't see a used up guitar. I see a guitar that could be something. I like fixing things up, and I like making something out of nothing.
One thing I'm good at is fixing things.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Texas Toast keeps bringing over questions, Ben. So you're going to have to carry in. We're going to let Ben do that. Was that okay? Or no? Hold on. There's something here we have to answer immediately. What does it say? Can you read it out loud?
How close can you make a Johnny Ramone Mosrite with stainless steel frets, and how much does that cost?
Funny you should ask. So we've got lots of Mosrites. You want to grab that? We don't. So hold on one second. I'm getting input from here and input from here. The Johnny Ramone Mosrite is certainly a very cool one. We had another guy send us in his neck. And his Mosrite neck, and Chris is going to fly this one in here. We actually ended up building the body for this. Well, you just scooch this one out of the way and put the
we'll do this.
Yeah. So we actually built the body for this one and put all this guy's Mosrite parts on it. I don't know what happened to his original body, but
I do. He dropped it and it broke.
How could it break?
Because it wasn't a real body.
Okay, but this is a legit neck, yeah.
Let's go with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
No.
What do you think? Well, so the guy sent us this neck and a bunch of
Mhm.
hardware. What do you think is legitimate? That's a problem with Mosrites. Is there's so many, and I'm eventually getting back to whoever asked the question about Mosrites.
A64 T-Bird.
I'm coming back to you, T-Bird. But bear with me.
Yeah. So this neck is from a Chinese copy.
Okay.
And the pickups, I think, at least this pickup is a real Mosrite, American-made pickup. This tremolo is Japanese, from a Japanese copy that they've been making since the 60s, and the body's ours, and this is just some roller bridge.
Now, I want to say that the Johnny Ramone Mosrite had a stop tailpiece and tunematic. It was a flat.
Yeah, it was
flat
a slat
body. Was it? So this
yeah.
the one that Chris
had
just had is a carved top.
This style neck too, which is similar to a Fender neck, where this is flat.
Oh, that's right. That's not angled and scooped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we could absolutely help you with that. Send me an email about your question about the Johnny Ramone Mosrite, because that's definitely cool. But he had a single coil pickup in the bridge and a mini humbucker in the neck.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty unique guitar, and I haven't deep dove into that too much.
The Johnny Ramone is a huge influence for me, because I'm one of those guys who I really drank the Ramones Kool-Aid, and I totally was into, these guys are making music and I can play songs like these dudes, and I'm into that. And they're a big influence for me. And if you play with all downstrokes, you know how tricky it was for those guys to do what they did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Johnny Ramone also has a really cool, had a really cool guitar that Hamer built for him. And it's not, you don't see it very often because he's so closely associated with that Mosrite, but he played it a lot. He played it on that Shanahan show a couple times. and there's one or two videos where he's got it. It's a Les Paul Jr. double cutaway shape, or the Hamer special shape. And it's in that classic Johnny Ramone white, and it's got 2 humbuckers and the Hamer Sustainer bridge. But it's a really cool guitar. We've done a few replicas of those too, because I'm a giant fan of Hamer. So send me an email to if you go to the website texastoastguitars.com, you can send us an email, and please do, because I've got 4 or 5 Mosrite body. Will you grab one of those Mosrite bodies up there, somebody? We've got a bunch of Mosrite bodies that are ready for paint and necks and everything. So we can do whatever you want to do.
Awesome.
Chris has got one right here. So this is the legit
Texas.
The legit Texas toast right.
Very cool. That's right. A toast right.
I'm choking on my own spit over here. Yeah.
You're too legit to spit.
Metalhead Hippie asks, so what's new and upcoming with Texas Toast Guitars? Build model types, perhaps?
Everything that we do is custom, so we don't really know. A lot of this, every so often we'll do some spec stuff. I'm actually building a guitar for Vince Buckles right now. That's a Flying V with Maltese cross inlay. And so I've got a laser inlay guy that we're going to be doing some videos with. One thing that is I'm actually really excited about. I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek at what is new and exciting for Texas Toast viewers and Patreon members. I'm working with a handful of companies on getting some discounts. So working with Dan at Guitar-Wood Experts for Texas Toast viewer discounts. And I've got a handful of other people that we're going to work with and see if we can't put together some, a little bit of a price break for some of the cool stuff that we use with companies that we endorse.
Nice.
Yeah.
Metalhead Hippie asks, are most of your bodies whole slab or 2 or 3 piece? And also, can someone order a body for their own custom build from you guys?
Yes, and yes. We do. We'll do whatever wood you want in whatever number of pieces that you're interested in. Now, having said that, some lumber is easier to get in 1-piece blanks or 2-piece blanks than it is in other lumber. So, for example, we recently had a bunch of alder that was perfect one-piece blanks, and they were expensive. We found this log, basically. Remember that, Chris?
Yeah, yeah.
And we just bought the whole thing, and they were, we ended up we had got 4 or 5 bodies out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't even really have anything.
We walked into the lumberyard. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. We've never seen that.
I've never seen it.
We need to buy it because it's really cool.
I had never seen it before, and I've never seen it again.
Right.
It doesn't mean that it's not out there, but it's not available to me necessarily.
No.
So I just got some blanks, some Swamp Ash blanks from Dan at Guitar Wood Experts, and 2 of them are 2-piece blanks, and 2 of them are 3-piece blanks.
Mm-hmm.
Super lightweight Swamp Ash bodies. We do 1-piece mahogany as often as we can, but so the guitar I'm building for Vince Buckles is white limba. If you're into Gibson, you might call it Carina. That's harder to get in the widths that is necessary to do 1-piece. So this is probably going to be, will you grab that Modern? Will you grab Jim's Modern?
Yeah.
So no, it's fine. It's fine. So white limba, black limba, Carina is really tricky to get in the widths that you need to. Do you remember, Ben, the 58? It would have been the Flying V, what would become the Explorer, and the Modern.
Right.
This is one that we're doing for my friend Jim Fuller, and it's white limba, and it pretty closely matches that Gibson color. But this is a 2 or 3 piece because it's so hard to get that stuff in the widths that you need. So it all depends, but and we're absolutely happy to help you with, if you guys have a custom body shape that you want to turn in from a picture into a guitar, we can do that.
All right. And thank you. Terry is posting the links for your YouTube, Facebook, and website, the same ones that are in the description down below. He's posting them in the side chat, which is awesome.
Mrs. Texas Toast wants to know if I'm against 0 frets, and the answer is absolutely not.
I think someone was asking when you pulled out the Mosrite if you're against 0 frets.
Oh, no, I think 0 frets are really cool.
And what is the benefit of having a 0 fret, Matt?
We have a whole video on the pros and cons of 0 frets.
All the more reason to subscribe to your channel.
Yeah. It's actually one of our more popular videos, and I don't know why. So 0 frets are really cool, especially if you are a crappy guitar company 50 years ago that was making lots and lots of guitars, because you don't have to have the nut be cut correctly if you have a 0 fret. But so the problem with 0 frets is that sometimes people kind of get in this mode of, well, 0 frets are only found on cheap guitars, which is absolutely not true. 0 frets are really cool. Some of the cons, I don't actually know if there are any cons to a 0 fret.
Well, we talked about over time, there's some weird wear patterns that happen, depending on how close your string guide is to that 0 fret can change that wear. You're pretty much, I mean,
there's a lot of cool stuff associated with a 0 fret, and one is super low action. One is your nut doesn't have to be exactly perfect.
Right.
Another is open strings sound the same as fretted strings.
I think that's the big one for a lot of people. I can't hear it, but it's true.
It
is true. Yeah.
So I think 0 frets are cool, and we offer those. We'll do whatever someone wants. If someone wants a 0 fret, we'll absolutely do a 0 fret.
Yeah, we've done several.
Lots. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's neat, and I think it's a cool retro kind of way to do it.
And it's unfortunate that it's associated with low cost guitars.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. But they're neat, and they're neat.
You've done a bunch of guitar. Does your Toast right? Both of yours have
frets, both
right?
both of my Mosrite Texas Toast guitars have 0 frets, and they're neat. I think.
Dave R's Guitars. Speaking of which, welcome, buddy. He says Mosrite use 0 frets on most of their models.
Yeah.
Rick Hefner mentioned his 79 Gretsch has a 0 fret as well.
Yeah,
the Country Gentleman has a 0 fret.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with
can't
using
type
it.
because he's trying to restring his new Charvel that has a Floyd Rose.
Oh, fun
Yeah.
time in the city. I like I say, man, I think that Floyds are making a comeback, and I'm glad because it basically means that guitars are making a comeback.
Well, it's funny because when I got into watching live streams, one of the first channels I started following was my now good friend Johnny Beane, and their main thing was Eddie Van Halen based, and I thought a great show to tune into.
The Nerd Halen guy.
Yeah, well, and I'm thinking to myself, well, that guy, between his guitar playing. And then he's got the whole EVH gear thing. Like, that's one guy you could probably talk about more than a lot of guitar players. So I tuned in as a happy-go-lucky Telecaster Les Paul only player.
Mm-hmm.
And within 6 months, I end up with one of these.
Here it comes. Nice. What is that?
This is a 1986 Kramer Focused 6000.
Yeah.
Sweet. Hey, Ben.
Makes the Kramer Focus 5000 look like a ukulele.
Yeah. You know what? I can't believe. So when I was at Roberto Venn, I went to school with I was roommates with two other guys who were going to school, and one of them was Matt Putman. He's from Canada. You know him? No. And we didn't have a TV, but we would go to dollar movies, and one of the dollar movies was Eddie and the Cruisers 2.
Oh, yes.
There was a sequel to Eddie and the Cruisers, yeah, and they were playing. The guitar player was playing a Lado guitar. Do you have a Lado guitar in your arsenal?
I don't, but I've met Joe Lado.
What's the deal with Lado guitar and trainers and Lados? And
well, you see, the first thing, and I knew it right away within the first 30 seconds of watching that movie, that it was clearly shot in Canada.
Yeah.
Right. So you got Trainer Amps, which is owned by Yorkville. And they're built about an hour up the highway from me.
And that's an old school amp company, yes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've been around for quite some time. And a bit of their gear filtered in across the northern border, like bands touring through Canada. Hey, I need a new head or something.
Yeah.
But great bulletproof gear.
That's
and
what
then
I hear.
Joe Lado was built. Yeah, he started building Super Strats in the 80s. And then got into, building your Kramer-esque guitars.
Yeah. So are they still around?
No. Joe, let's just say, like, if you have a capacity to build 6 guitars a year, you shouldn't be taking down payments on 20 guitars at a time.
Oh, okay. That's good for me to know because I have the capacity to build about 6 guitars a year. So maybe a few more. Yeah.
Yes. And definitely maybe, and this is unconfirmed, of course, but maybe have a habit or two that you may have to dip into those deposit monies.
Oh, sure. Well, that can happen.
Yeah. But they're great guitars.
So have you ever played a Lado?
Well, that was the funny part was I was hanging out at a local music store, and my buddy who owned the place, he was carrying Lados. And I was like, these are really cool guitars. I'd love to meet Mr. Lado at some point. And he goes, well, turn around, dude. He just brought in the new shipment because he would show up with the station wagon full of guitars and deliver them to various stores.
Funny.
That's the way we do it too.
So you missed it, but Ben's actually played a Lado through a trainer. I don't know that that's accurate.
I don't know if they played it through a trainer or not, although it is possible.
It's a Canadian heavy metal weekend.
Yeah,
that's right. Do you remember that there's a band called the Circle Jerks, and they had a song called American Heavy Metal Weekend?
Oh, I remember the Circle Jerks, of course.
And me and this guy who I used to be roommates with used to change the words to Canadian Heavy Metal Weekend. It's dumb and I'm not going to go into it, but anyway, are there any more questions that I can really let's
see here. We've got Lando 27 Music tuning in from the nation's capital. Good to see you, buddy. Marsman's here. He says, I have 2 old Yorkville bass combos. Very cool.
I remember like the Trainer 200 amps were like super popular for a while.
Oh, yeah.
With bass players. All tube and super cool.
Todd Flower says he loved both the Eddie and the Cruisers movies.
The second one was hilarious. It wasn't as good as Streets of Fire. Remember that one with the same dude?
Yep. Let's see. Phil Mosley says, I've never been much of an 80s guitarist kind of guy, but Kramer have been on my radar for quite a while. Wouldn't mind checking them out.
Kramer's made a lot of cool stuff, not just super Strat Floyd kind of stuff either. There's lots and lots of neat Kramers.
Exactly. And we got Elvis Band, Aaron joining in from the Chicago area. Just finished a 3-hour band practice.
What does he think about deep dish versus thin crust?
Yeah. He might be a little biased.
He probably is. He's probably had Chicago pizza from one of that famous place that's on like the food shows all the time. You know, I've never had like legit Chicago pizza from that place.
Well, see, I tried because flying back from NAMM, I got stranded in Chicago for the night. And so I ordered pizza, and it was some shitty pizza. It was not deep dish. It wasn't
the thing from the Food Network. Guy Fieri wasn't there with.
No, it wasn't thick like a cake or nothing. You know.
Yeah.
And actually, nope, New York all day.
Huh?
He prefers New York pizza.
I do too, but it's only because my old lady's from New York, and I have to. I like it, but yeah, I'm really more. I could eat Mexican food 3 times a day, every day. And in Mexico, they just call it food.
Well, in the extent of Mexican food in this area, for the most part, is Taco Bell. Living in small town Canada.
Yeah, they probably don't have. You don't have a lot of Mexican immigrants in Canada.
None, pretty much. Well, we got
kind of missing out, man, because it's kind of where I live. Yeah, I love that stuff, man.
You know, one thing you can't get in Denver though.
Apparently, green chili.
Good green chili. That's
such
exactly
crap.
right. Yeah. That's.
I like Yareth's has good. Anyway, yeah.
Dave R says thin crust all the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions here, ask away. Of course.
We're ready.
So, Matt, what got you interested in even building guitars in the first place?
I didn't even know it was a thing until one day I was at Hastings Music and I was looking in a guitar magazine, and there was an ad in the back that said, "Build your own guitar, lose weight now. All you got to do is ask me how." And it was a Roberto Venn ad, and I was looking for something to do after high school, and I'm like, "Hey, I know, I'll go to this school that teaches you how to build guitars." And so I did. And that was back in the 80s. And you got to remember, like, everybody I knew who was a guitar builder in the 80s was absolutely, positively convinced they were going to be the next Paul Reed Smith, myself included. Obviously, that didn't happen. But that's okay. You know, you do what you do. And I've like I said, I loved making instruments. It's something that I was able to excel at more so than playing the guitar. Not that I'm like the greatest guitar builder in the world. I'm like only the second greatest guitar builder. No, there's so many people who are so much better at it than me. But it's something I really do love to do. And yeah, so it's another thing cool about it's funny when you say who's the greatest guitar builder in the world. I know so many great guitar builders, and none of them are dicks. Everybody I know who's a guitar maker is cool. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's not a zero-sum game. And it's like when you talk to, we're just right down the street from Learn Guitars, Mike Learn. And Mike is a way better guitar builder than I am. And it's a way better guitar painter than I'll ever be. And he has no business hanging out with me because I'm just some schlub. And Mike is this fucking cool dude.
But totally willing to share.
Totally willing to share. Yeah. When we were at the NAMM show, any of those guys who we know, I'm going to miss some of them, but John Sullivan, Doug Cower, Brian Nutter, all those guys are so cool and are so willing to help out that, and just to be part of like it sounds corny, but it's really part of a community. And I don't experience that in any other fields of endeavor. I'm sure there are, but
like outside of the music business, you don't see, like, I know, like in the pedal world, like Brian Wampler has a problem. He can call up Josh Scott, or Robert Keeley, and they're willing, or the fact that they collaborate on stuff, even that, You know, like you're not seeing Ford and Chevy collaborate on a new vehicle.
No, no. Our buddy Steve at Maximum Guitars is he's teaching at a local college, and he comes over and we've done a handful of collaboration videos with him. And it's, I don't know, there's something cool about, you know, hanging out with other guitar makers. And so far I've yet to meet anyone who's a total prick about it. You know what I mean?
I had the pleasure of meeting Grover Jackson, and I thought if anybody could have an ego, it would be him.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many guys that you know, guys that we look up to, that look up to Grover as the ultimate,
because he's the man.
Dude, yeah.
You know who else is the man? Is Joe from Heritage Guitars, who worked at Gibson in the 50s.
Right.
Totally cool guy. I mean, like, he doesn't know me, but you know, I can't call him up and go, "Hey, Joe," but totally cool guy.
Jim,
is it
Derlou?
There you go. I don't even know his fucking name.
Yeah, he's so cool. We don't even know his name.
But like all those guys
Jim
at Heritage
Derlou.
are like so cool. And when they find out we make guitars too, they're like, "Oh, hey, check this out." Super, super nice guys.
We asked him, how do you do one thing? And he's like, "Oh, you can do it this way. You do it this way.
Yep.
You do it this way. Do you have this machine? You can do it that way.
Yep.
You can do this. Which way did you do it? Oh, all of those ways.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ron Limber says he's checking out your YouTube channel.
Thank you, Ron.
RJ was asking if you actually carry any guitars in stock or they're strictly built to order.
We do. We have lots of guitars that are in inventory, and you can go to Flipside Music and check those out. We'll build to order, and we've got a handful of things. We have a model that we call the Challenger, which is we don't have any Challengers out here. We have a model called the Challenger, which is our take on a set neck guitar. And we have another guitar called the Daily Driver, which is our take on the Fender Telecaster. In fact, we have one, we have one in pine. I'm drinking way too much beer, or just enough beer. We have one, we have a Daily Driver in pine right here. Chris is going to swap them out. So,
oh, look at that thing.
Now this is cool, not because this is a funny guitar, but this is Beetle Kill Pine. And this bridge, we actually designed this bridge in conjunction with a local machinist. And the cool part about it is it's a top load bridge, but as Chris is going to show you now, it's got a super hot rod. The string balls actually hide in the end here.
Right.
And so that's very cool. Oh, Mrs. Texas Toast just brought up a Challenger.
This one's also got a, and this is a total Billy Gibbons thing, a straight pickup.
That's right.
Yeah. The angled pickup. Yeah. This body will accommodate any direction pickup you want.
Did you go for the traditional Esquire wiring for that?
I can't remember what we did.
Well, this one's.
I'm seeing a selector and I'm seeing one pickup. So.
Yeah, it's one pickup. It's mostly Esquire wiring, but it's a 4-way switch because that's what I had. so I added another little thing in there.
Oh, look at you putting your little stank
So,
on.
hold on, Carrie Ann brought up a Challenger.
Okay. Boop, swap.
What? Who brought it up?
Mrs. Texas Toast brought up a Challenger.
Which I believe one of those is the thumbnail because I lifted it off your cover page on the Facebook page.
That is the thumbnail. It's that this one is actually the problem with this one is it blends in. Look at the picture. It blends into the backdrop that we have.
It's the Salamander model.
That's right. So this is a fabric top Challenger. It's a mahogany body, maple neck, dual humbucker, set neck guitar, which is actually a maple neck. Did I say maple neck or maple top?
Both?
Look at the toe tag.
Well, no, I'm just trying to remember what I said though. But yeah, so
Well, you did say maple neck.
okay, so it has a maple top as well. And this one, there's actually I forgot there's another version, or there's another guitar that we have that's a standard, and it's called the Soul Pole, and that's our bass line. And I play a soul pole in my band, and there's a matching soul pole to this, by the way.
Yeah.
But
And the camera is not doing this fabric justice. It's got a lot of gold thread in it, and it's really sharp.
dude, will you talk about fabric while I go pee?
Sure. What would you like to know about fabric? Get me started.
Well, fabric top guitars are popular.
Fabric top guitars are popular.
Wow.
Yeah. And some of our favorites have a lot of gold thread in them because it really pops and shines and looks cool. And yeah,
I love it.
yeah, it's really neat. Yeah, we've done a lot of fabric tops. We still do a lot of fabric tops, and we've turned some other people onto fabric tops too, which is pretty fun. So to see what other people do with,
like whenever somebody mentions fabric top, immediately Texas Toast comes to mind for me.
Yeah, and Matt claims that he didn't invent it, and I know he didn't. I know, yeah, but I think he definitely popularized it. I think there were some guys that played around with stuff like that, but we've done a lot of them, and we've done a lot of things with them. And
all right,
yeah,
well, you can clear up a mystery for me. The Fender stuff of the late '60s, the Paisley stuff.
Yeah,
was that not a fabric top at times as well?
No, that was a wallpaper, from what I understand.
Wallpaper, okay.
Yeah, but it was similar. It's like this gilded wallpaper. It's got gold, almost like wrapping paper. A lot of times I think, well, I should start looking at wrapping paper, like Christmas paper, to come up with some of this stuff, because it's got that kind of textured gold or textured silver look that a lot of wrapping papers have, and they're probably very similar. So yeah, and they coated those things in tons and tons of sealer to try and like get it to smooth out and hide, and a lot of them ended up cracking and blowing apart and looking horrible. So yeah,
as happens with lacquer finishes, I can relate.
Yeah, and
in Canada.
Yeah, and the more you put on, especially some of the sealers that you use on that stuff, yeah, it gets bad fast. So
we have a question. Do you guys have a brand preference for strings for your builds when you ship them?
No, we don't. Typically, we'll use Ernie balls or Diodarios, something like that, 10s, unless somebody specifies something or somebody brings something over. Usually when we build a guitar, I figure that's the first set of strings that guitar is going to have out of a lot of strings, and somebody very well may change them literally the day they get the guitar. So we put, good strings on, but we don't go whole hog with something crazy.
It's pretty much whatever we can get for the least amount of money. That's something decent.
That's decent, yeah.
So Diodario, Ernie Ball, yeah. Sorry, I had to leave. I had to pee like a 2-dick dog.
Yeah. Well, I was here down the fort. It was pretty solid while you were gone.
Yeah, fortunately for me, right off camera, I have a door and a back deck. So
nice. Well, where do you think I went, Ben?
Yeah. Nice.
Right off your back deck.
Yeah, right off your back deck.
Todd Flowers says he found the channel based off the fabric top videos.
So that's cool. I've said it a bunch of times, but I want to say it again.
You invented fabric tops.
I did not invent fabric top. There's guys who are way smarter than me who have been doing fabric tops way longer than me. I just was in a good place at a good time to get a popular YouTube thing about fabric tops.
Yeah.
So I did not. It's a really cool thing to do though, and I kind of experimented with fabric tops and Paisleys and things because I've always loved those old Fenders. Once we figured out how to bind a fabric top, I was like, yes, this is cool, because I never. It's funny because I never really cared for the Fender burst around the Paisley, but we've done a bunch of bursts around fabric top and back guitars, and it looks cool. But binding just classes it up way more. So
yeah. I think one of the problems with the Fender stuff is their burst colors are always almost more bright than the actual Paisley.
The problem I have is you have
and it's like, oh man, which is worse, the burst or the? And I'm not. In a lot of ways, I'm not necessarily down with
the burst is too
colored
big.
bursts. Other than brown and black.
Yeah.
So
we've done a bunch of guitars. People send us their bodies. In fact, one guy sent us a brand new 2018 Yngwie Malmsteen Strat, and he wanted a fabric top.
I remember that. Yeah.
And we actually caught a little bit of flack about that. I can't believe you're doing that. Mrs. Texas Toast is she's got
How dare you desecrate such a fine instrument as the
guitar they made 8
yeah,
zillion of.
8 zillionth.
Hold on, I'm seeing one here.
Yngwie Malmsteen Strat in
Hold
banana yellow.
Yeah. And I was going to say, even though I know the last Fabric Top video that was produced by you guys was the last Fabric Top video, I would recommend one single video, and it's Matt sitting there in front of the camera going, "This is the history of Fabric Tops to the best of my knowledge." And then you lay it all out there.
There's also a big blog post on my website with links to all those videos and how we do it. So Mrs. Texas, let me preempt this real quick. There's someone who wants to know if we've ever done Amigo guitar shows or Chicago guitar shows. The answer is no, we've never done those. But yeah, sorry, I guess it's been asked like 3 or 4 times. Fabric Tops are cool and they're so easy to do that everybody should do them because they're really cool and really fun. Maybe one day we'll go to the NAMM show. Ben, next year at the NAMM show, there's going to be a boatload of Fabric Tops. No, there won't be, but yeah.
Nice. With P90s.
And we've done that. We've done Fabric Tops with P90s. Mm-hmm. I love P90s. Are you like all about P90s?
It sounds like he is.
Yeah. I love P90s.
Have P90s or mini hums or regular hums? Do you have a deluxe?
Go with all of the above, but when I started playing P90s again, they've inspired me to write the most amount of music.
Yeah.
And just something about the way I play with a P90, it just works.
Yeah, I hear you.
You always cut through the mix.
Absolutely. Yeah. My guitar player had a Les Paul Deluxe with mini humbuckers, and he would switch him out with P90s, and it always sounded cooler with P90s than it did with mini hums. So let's put another guitar up here.
All right.
Put Lance's Hamer Californian up there. That's cool. Oh shit. We don't have a place to put new guitars.
Relax, I got you.
Well, no, we don't have any more.
Where's Lance?
Lance's is the one on the far end.
Well, let's put this. This one's cool. Let's put this. No, we'll put this one up, love. This will be all right. Oh, Chris has got it all sorted out. I don't know how many people are still watching.
I just got an update from Terry because unfortunately Hangouts doesn't tell me anymore. We have 40 people watching and 25 thumbs ups. So we appreciate the
cool then.
Again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and also subscribe to Texas Toast channel down below in the description, or Terry's been putting it in the chat as well.
Yeah, subscribe.
So this is a new fretboard material that we've been trying out. It's it doesn't stay this color. Later it turns green.
No, it doesn't.
No, it's tape.
It stays blue forever.
It's blue tape.
This is a guitar that we're replicating for a guy who had a Hamer Californian in the 80s, and you know how shit happens. It gets away from you, and so he decided he wanted to build another one, have another one built. Well, right. Hamer, unfortunately, is not making guitars anymore, and it's too bad because Joel Danzig has forgotten more about building guitars in the last 10 minutes than I'll ever know. But we were able to replicate a Hamer Californian for our good buddy Lance. So,
yep,
that's just what we do, man.
And it's going to be like the darkest blue, metallic blue ever here, but it's still going to show the maple because this is the neck goes all the way
right.
For everyone wondering,
it's like a half.
There's no one. Yeah, it's not quite neck through, but it's a
Right.
set neck. It's this Q. This is a inspired by Dan Armstrong yet again. The
Right.
greatest guitar builder in the world. A lot of people think it was Leo Fender. Some people say Ted McCarty. Some people say Paul Bigsby. They're all wrong. It was Dan Armstrong.
Because I think Dan actually put his hands on some of that stuff. I guarantee Leo Fender and Ted McCarty did not.
Well, not at the end there. Yeah.
I don't know that. Well, yeah. I mean,
Here's another one.
Screws
Okay.
is one thing.
B64 T-Bird asks, you guys use dual action or single action truss rods?
Standard is dual action. If someone wants a curved truss rod in a slot, we will do that. You know, truss rods were a thing that I spent years and years and years worrying over. In fact, I even have a 45-minute PowerPoint presentation about truss rods. And we finally landed on the dual action truss rod from Bitterroot Guitars. And by the way, Bitterroot Guitars is one of the guys. John over there is a super cool dude, and we're going to see if we can get him to do a Texas Toast code with Bitterroot. That would be cool. But yeah, so right now we use the dual action rods because I just think they're better. We'll do a single action rod if someone wants one. I've been able to talk everyone into a dual action rod though.
Mm-hmm.
I'll even do a non-adjustable truss rod if someone really wants to. Whatever you want. That's sort of the whole deal with having a custom guitar built, is you have it your way.
Right. Except for my dream for paint, but I get it because it's a hassle for you guys.
What's your dream for paint?
Nitro finishes.
Yeah, so if money is no object, we'll be happy to do nitrocellulose paint.
Well, I know too. It's much harder. It's got to be much harder to spray for you guys, based where you are too, right?
Spraying it is easy. Getting it to look how you want it to look is going to be tricky.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So we switched from lacquer. The other thing about it is that, the nitrocellulose lacquer, and Chris can talk to this more than I can, but let's just say for the sake of conversation that the nitrocellulose or acrylic lacquer that you can get today ain't the same thing that you could get in 1954. Right. And when you can get that, because you can go to, DuPont or wherever and spec that stuff, you just can't get. So if you want like a crazy blue color, or if you want, metallic pea green, well, good luck getting that with lacquer. With modern paints, it's a snap. Like right. I said, here's the giant book of metallic pea green. Pick the one you want out of these 8 zillion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. In modern paint, right. Modern paint's safer. It's just,
it goes on with fewer coats. A lot of people think.
Hold on one second. You and I were the biggest proponents of nitrocellulose lacquer in the world until we tried modern paint.
Yeah.
Remember that? I remember we had a conversation where like, no way am I ever going to use this stuff. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way it feels. I don't like the way it smells. I don't like anything about it. We tried the new stuff and we're like, this is no, just not. We're not even going to bother with lacquer anymore.
Yeah.
Well, the nice thing about the modern paints is it actually holds up more than 3 years, which is nice. Unless you want that natural relic to happen. Like for me, I love checking on paint jobs myself.
It's cool, man. There's no doubt about it. If someone wants the thinnest possible finish, though, is an oil finish. So if someone really, really wants thin finish, if it was up to me, every finish would be oil, and we wouldn't have to have this conversation. But yeah, anyway.
BV just asked, does it still chip? It does, but in much smaller pieces, because I've got a couple very small nicks in that telly, as opposed to losing quarter-sized chunks just by looking at it wrong.
And you know what? Here's the thing, though. The thickness of paint has more to do with the labor force than it does with the product. So, you see some of those like Squires they have a big ding on it, and it's like, wow, that paint's like 1/8 of an inch thick. You don't have to spray that paint that thick.
It actually takes a lot of work to spray it.
You got to work hard to do it. But in a big factory, it makes sense. So one of the things that I always tell everybody is if Ben and Chris and I go to Paul Reed Smith and get hired on for, to be guitar makers at Paul Reed Smith, the very first job we would have would be sanding sealer, because you'll sand it with 220 or 320. If you go through to the wood, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It won't impact the instrument at all. So the least skilled labor force always does the work on sealer finish first. Now, one of the most skilled things, or one of the most automated projects, is buffing final coat. But that's a whole nother thing. But so you do not have to. And Paul Reed Smith is a great example of a company that doesn't put it on crazy thick, or puts it on crazy thick and then grinds a bunch of it off to where it's not crazy thick at the end of the day. And we do that too. So like This only has sealer on it, and it's kind of thick, but we haven't sanded it back yet. So we'll sand to where it's basically not even there.
Right.
Yeah. So it's certainly not as thick as like, you know, an Squire
Right.
or, you know, any of the import stuff. That stuff goes on super.
Yeah, Todd Flowers mentioned that. He says 5 pounds of paint on my old Squire CV50s telly.
Yeah. And again, that's more of an indictment of the labor force than the product used to finish the guitar.
Yeah. And I've seen those guitars where it was literally every color that they offer that guitar.
Yeah.
Because somebody sanded through, so they put it back in the line, and it got shot again, and it happened again, and it happened again. And I've seen, it looks like a jawbreaker.
Yeah,
where you can see white and red and seafoam green, and then another layer of white, and then
which is some of my favorite relics from the Fender Custom Shop.
Yeah,
or stuff that would have never actually happened.
Yeah, you sit there and grind it away. My favorite relic of the Fender Custom Shop is the well, there's two.
The Sunburst over metallic.
Yeah,
or over flake.
Metal flake. Yeah. The Fiesta red over red metal flake, which would never ever have happened at Fender because they didn't paint metal flake at Fender. They farmed that stuff out to local car guys. And it could have been a refin, which is fine, but then that's a whole other thing. And then my other favorite is,
you know what, those dudes at the Fender Custom Shop are totally fucking cool guys, dude.
Paisley base with like a white.
Paisley
oh
base.
man, come on. It's cool to look at. But
Mrs. Texas Toast brought me a question that someone asked: what do we use for drying times?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. She's on quicker than I am. I've got it all queued here.
Oh, okay. On the modern finishes, we just go by what's on the MSDS sheet or the directions. The sealer that we use is Simtex sealer, and if you're wanting to paint your own guitar and you're going to seal it first, do not use anything but Simtex sealer because it's so easy and so cool. Now it stinks like hell, but it's a catalyzing sealer. It's great. You can sand it, you can work it. We use PPG paints, and the color coats are single stage paints. Yes.
Well, no, it's a dual stage system.
But the color coats don't require. Oh, hold on. There's more coming in. Temperature and humidity. Temperature and humidity has way more of an impact on lacquer than it does modern paint.
Yeah. All the stuff that we use is a catalyzed product, so it's a chemical reaction rather than a
dries
evaporative thing. Except it changes it very, very little on catalyzed products.
So yeah, if I'm gonna give everybody watching the same advice that I got from Mike Learn, which is stop using lacquer, start using modern paint. After you do it, send me a thank you. It's just so much easier.
Yeah. Our drying times, we don't do this as a full-time thing.
Yeah.
So if we paint something, we usually work on the weekends. So if we paint something on Saturday, it'll ready
bake for
whatever we want to do to it the following Saturday. It's probably really ready the following Monday to do whatever we want to it. So
yeah, if you've got a little bit of time, if you're only working like in your home shop and you've got a day job, go out and spray on Sunday, and when you're ready to get back at it again on the following Saturday, you'll be good to go. Yeah. So unlike lacquer, where you have to wait months seemingly for that stuff to dry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will Varela asks if you could show the headstock of the Californian build again, please.
Sure. So this is kind of an Explorer headstock, but I want to say in this neighborhood is where it changes. It gets a little flatter. So it's funny because the guy who we're building this guitar for, our friend Lance, who's a super cool guy. Sometimes what's his nickname? Fat Allen or Barely Legal Lance.
And he's neither fat nor Allen
nor barely legal.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Lance is a really, really cool guy, and he had a custom Hamer for a while, and he was actually on the payroll. He was an endorsed Hamer player for, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks.
he's like the Hamer sage.
He is,
right?
which is cool because I'm a total
Well,
Hamer
originally,
like nerd. But so we would make this guitar, and then Lance would go, "You need to make these scallops a little deeper on this one. You need to make the headstock." That he remembers, like he remembers stuff like I would never remember that kind of shit, and he remembers it, and he's like, "You need to make this little." He would tweak it, and he's such a cool guy, and I love having Lance come to the shop because he's a fountainhead of knowledge, and he's a total nerd like me. So yeah,
Aren't we all?
I would like to
in this community are a bunch of nerds.
yeah. You're it's only nerdery if it's something you're not into.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's fandom.
Geek.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Passion. It's passion for the
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. What do you, I'm getting, Lance knows his nickname is Barely Legal Lance.
Does he really?
Yeah, he was here when we were like, "Hey, we should start calling you Barely Legal Lance."
Hey, Crowbar's in the house. Awesome.
Crowbar.
We like Crowbar. Let's see. Barefoot Moon's here as well. Thrash metal and fun riffs. Awesome. Excuse me. So probably wrap it up in a few minutes here, folks. If you have any last minute questions for myself or the guys here.
Especially for Ben. I think Ben's kind of he's sucking wind. He's not having to answer very many questions except for my stupid pie or cake thing. Yeah.
Is it soccer in Canada or is it football?
It's soccer.
It's soccer. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Although we will still refer to it as footy. So
as footy? Okay.
Yeah.
When did the second Rough Riders team become not the Rough Riders?
Aren't there two Rough Riders?
There were, but apparently
there were two. One folded, and then when they resurrected a team in Ottawa, the owner of the Rough Riders copyright wouldn't sell it, so they became the Red Blacks, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
The Red
Sports a couple of years ago.
Okay.
The sports ball team?
Other than NASCAR, or auto racing in general.
Okay.
Terry just said 85 minutes streaming, 41 watching, and 29 thumbs ups.
That seems okay, right?
Yeah, I'll take it.
This just in: Rough Riders 23, Rough Riders 13.
Hey,
So Dave R.
Ben, can we solicit for our podcast tomorrow?
Of course. Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Okay. Well, hold on. Mrs. Texas
2.5 hours.
From Dave R.
Well,
Dave.
I want to get your opinion on it.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to give the mic to Mrs. Texas Toast.
I just want to get your opinion on this because Dave R's guitar is a big fan of Nitro. And I'm like, why? And because the question was first asked was if Simtex plays well with Nitro. Yeah, but why? Because Nitro sucks. He's like, well, I like it. And I'm like, why? Because it sucks. And, the quality's only gotten worse over the years. There's no new innovations. So I'm going to actually hand the microphone over to Chris because he's the paint.
Do we want to deep dive into
into
lacquer?
But, just because I'm on the peripheral and
I don't know.
All right, so hang on one second. So Mrs. Texas Toast has some. She was trained by Mike Learn, the fucking paint guru of paint gurus, to do paint. You know what? If you're into Nitro, then thumbs up, man.
I'm not saying don't be.
That's what you are saying though. So all right, so she's going out to smoke. So if I don't have a dog in the fight of Nitro versus something else. I know what works great for us, and if you like nitrocellulose, then rock on. One of the things that I like to do, we have first cool and second cool. And first cool to me is something that can be quantifiable. Like, for example, this guitar is or Ben, how much are your pickups? How much are your pickups?
I think they're about $100 US for the
Okay,
set.
so $100. So we can all agree that $100 is $100. That's first cool. You know what I mean? It's something that's easily quantifiable. Second cool is not as easily you can't make it be the same for everyone. And it seems like nitrocellulose lacquer, 0 fret, stainless frets, one bridge over another. That's all to me second cool. And if you like it because you like it, thumbs up, man. That's what you should use. To me, modern paints are a second cool. There's some first cool stuff because they're easy to work with and they don't blush, for example. But there's some first uncool things about modern paint, and that is they don't repair as easy as lacquer.
That's Dave R. That's what he was just saying. I'd much rather repair a nitro finish than almost any modern finish.
Absolutely. Now,
yeah. The one thing that always sticks out about that is
yeah, you don't have to repair a modern finish as often.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. By the time, yeah,
and it's cool. I mean, yeah, I don't care. Simtech, by the way, does work fairly well with nitrocellulose and acrylic lacquer.
Yeah.
It's a harder finish than any kind of lacquer is. So you can get some cracking if you're going to drill into the lacquer top coat under or on top of a Simtech undercoat. But yeah, man, if that's what you like, then yeah, you should use that because it's cool. It feels cool. I love the smell of it, you know? Yeah. Like I said, if it was up to me, every guitar would have an oil thing.
Up a guitar case with a vintage guitar because the guitar's been gassing in there for how long?
It's off gassing that lacquer smell. Yeah. And it's cool. Yeah.
It's unstable plastic is what nitrocellulose is.
Yeah.
And it's a deteriorating finish from the second you put it on until there's none left.
A lot of people think that nitrocellulose breathes. It doesn't breathe.
No.
It's plastic. It's a different kind of plastic than urethane or polyester, but it's a plastic and that's okay, you know.
Yeah, it's just a very early form of plastic.
Yeah.
They made all sorts of stuff using that same basic technology. Film they used. They made nitro celluloid film and pick guards and all of that stuff deteriorates and falls apart, and it does the same thing on a guitar and it does the same thing on a car.
But it looks cool. It yellows.
It does all that.
Checks,
and it makes if you're into old guitars, it makes all of that stuff happen
absolutely
much faster. So.
And it's definitely not without its cool features.
Yeah.
But when you compare it with modern paints have some advantages too. So I use whatever you like. I mean,
I think it was summed up perfect here by Scott DeFuck is his name.
I know that dude.
He says, this reminds me of Tonewood. At the end of the day, who gives a fuck? And he spelled it FUQ.
Yeah.
My whole thing with that is if you're at the 12 Volt Tavern on a Saturday night playing to the bartender at 2:00 in the morning, no one cares what your guitar wood is or what finish your guitar has on it.
One of my least favorite things about nitro is I work really, really hard at making every guitar look really nice and really good and really new. and it falls apart like instantly. They take it out and put it in their car on a cold Saturday, afternoon. And by Sunday, it's all busted up and looks like crap.
On your Mosrite, remember that we used lacquer on? One of the last guitars we used lacquer on? It looked like a piece of candy.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. And I don't know what it looks like now, but I know it doesn't look like the picture.
No, it doesn't look as good as it used to. And and that stuff, I mean, time's going by a lot faster for me now that I'm in my mid-30s. And, 5 years is nothing. And man, a minute ago, this guitar looked great. Now it looks like crap. I didn't do anything to it. So I like guitars to stay nice looking for as long as they can. Because
I think the other thing is you and I don't like relic, phony wear guitars.
No, I don't like the faked look. Or the forcing of that. And
having said that, the guys at Fender and some of those other dudes in the relic shop or whatever, they have that down to a science.
Yeah.
And they can make it look legit, but it's not legit. And if you're into that, or if you're into a guitar that wears really, really fast with legitimate wear, then lacquer's the hot setup. But it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. Lacquer is cool because it's traditional, and guitar players are traditional to a fault. So.
Yeah.
There we go.
You can't.
I think that's a great way to wrap things up. Matt and Chris, do you have anything to add? Tomorrow night, Brian Nutter will be on at 7 p.m. Eastern.
That's
5
right.
p.m. Mountain.
Tomorrow night, our good buddy Brian Nutter from Nutter Guitars is going to be on it. I have every reason to believe that I'm going to be as drunk as I've ever been.
Perfect.
Okay, maybe not.
And I actually get to tune in and watch because we did the tonight instead of tomorrow night.
Are you going to be able to tune in? That's so cool, Ben. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, heads up, folks. I will not be doing a live stream tomorrow night. I may do something during the day tomorrow if I'm really bored, but definitely I'll be tuning into that tomorrow evening. And then, of course, Monday night, we have the big Canucks with Guitar show with myself and Mr. Richard Shanahan.
Super cool. Ben, thank you for having us. I apologize for having my calendar be all fakakta, and that's for all my friends who are. Say again, your last?
I wasn't even going to bring it up.
Bring it up because, yeah, it was my fault that we're not doing this on Sunday. I promise I'll get a calendar.
Thrash Metal says, yeah, you have to because it's Veda. Yes, but not necessarily live, Thrash. And for those who don't know, Veda is vlog every day in April. So, yes, there will be a video coming out tomorrow regardless, whether it's live or not.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Chris, you have anything else that you want to tell everybody out in the internet?
I like guitars.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We didn't have time for my cars story, did we?
No, we didn't.
We'll get to that next time.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Ben, would you like to come on to one of our podcasts sometime?
Of course. I would be more than happy to.
Okay. All right. It's going to be on a Sunday. Is that all right?
Yeah. I'll just do your show instead of mine.
Okay. Let's make that happen.
We could make them both happen at the same time.
I have no idea.
I bet there is. I bet you could have yours. We could have ours. I don't know.
A double whammy. Shisha.
Yeah. But as we were saying off air, let me know well in advance to set it up since I'm already booked a month in advance.
Okay. Very good. Very good. That sounds fun. Let's do it again.
Cool.
Know, I think would be a really fun thing to do, Ben, and maybe your viewers could chime in on this one. I realize we're into hour and 37 minutes, but we could get all the guys from Flipside and we could have a roundtable discussion and we could get a bunch of people. It would just be fun. It would be a shit show.
I'll bet you
it would be a shit show, but it would be the best shit show ever.
I'll bet you, yeah, whether he does one and we do one or whether they're all going on at the same time, if we all advertise together, whether, who gets
all about the cross promoting.
Yeah, that would be cool. And that would be fun. And yeah, we could turn it into just a free-for-all goon show. Well, thanks again for having us, Ben. We really appreciate it. And it was
awesome. Great meeting up with both you guys at NAMM. You know, we've got some photos from that and such.
It was so much fun to hang out with you guys too. Thanks again. We kind of had to leave. We had to go to Vegas to shoot machine guns, but we sorry we didn't.
Okay. I didn't even make it back to NAMM for Sunday, so
we didn't even make it back to NAMM for Saturday.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't even remember what days we were there. Yeah,
most of that trip was a blur.
Yeah, the day of the meet and greet.
The meet and greet was the last thing, and then it was getting
2
drunk.
hours early. We got to the bar there,
and then getting drunk in the parking lot with Ike after that.
Yeah,
but yeah, so we went and saw my good friend Jim Fuller, and shout out to Jim and all my buddies who are at Kalash Bash in Texas right now, which is going on right this second. Anyway,
cool.
All right,
thanks, Ben.
Take us out, Ben.
All right. Well, thanks each and every one of the folks in the chat for tuning in. Thank you very much, Chris and Matt, for joining me this evening. This has been awesome. Learned some stuff tonight, which is always a benefit. And as I always say, folks, hold those doors open. Let that guy in ahead of you in traffic. Do good things, and good things will happen to you. Karma's real. I'm living the dream. Matt and Chris are living the dream. And we'll see you all on a video tomorrow, folks. Take care and peace.
See y'all then. Thanks.